This is the Women's Hockey Life Podcast.
She is a Boston native and Ohio University alumni who helped her team reach their first Frozen Four appearance and their first WCHA Championship, four-time OSU scholar athlete, and now the assistant coach for the women's ice hockey program at Colby College. Please welcome Olivia Soares.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I am really excited to chat with you. You have certainly accomplished so much in the past couple of years. You helped your team win their first WCHA Championship. You graduated with your bachelor's, and then you just earned your master's degree in sports management. Now you are coaching. I mean, like, so much in such a little time. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, how did you come into the sport of hockey, and where did that journey start for you?
Ooh, I wasn't too familiar with hockey growing up. I grew up around Boston, Massachusetts, and I was actually a basketball player growing up. I kind of followed the lead of what my sister played and joined into some of the sports that she was in. And one of my friends at the time, he was a hockey player, and I was hanging out at his house that day, and my parents were going to pick me up from his hockey practice at the rink. I've never seen hockey, never knew really much about it. And I remember watching their practice, and his dad was skating and came to the boards and stopped and, of course, blew up all the snow on the ice. And I thought it was the coolest thing, knew that I had to try it. So around fourth grade, we ended up moving a little bit away from Boston, and I begged my parents to play, asked them to actually buy me goalie equipment. Not sure why I really wanted to do that, but they didn't know much either. So they purchased the wrong equipment. And I'm very grateful for that. So ended up a forward and just fell in love with it. I mean, you hear people say it all the time, once you step on the ice, you don't look back, but it is true. I started playing, and it just took off from there, and fell in love with the game, and just never really looked back after that.
That's awesome. I mean, I couldn't imagine starting off as a goalie, like into a sport that you don't know anything about, and you're like,
oh yeah. I don't really know where it came from. I think because I played street hockey goalie once, but Other than that, I don't really know where that idea stemmed from.
Well, good thing they bought you the wrong equipment.
Exactly.
So you get tied into being a goalie. Yeah. So just fast forwarding. So what age was that you started hockey?
I was a little late. So it was around fourth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too late. I love when I hear athletes that have been playing for so long. They're like, yeah, I started late. I started at like 11. And I'm like, wow, you consider, like, It's crazy how the sport considers that really late. But fast forwarding, so you make it through high school, and now you're a college athlete. So what was that life like for you?
Mm-hmm. It was obviously a transition being a Division I athlete, but I loved my experience at Ohio State. The university itself and its athletic department just provides so much resources. So outside of being part of such a great team and having such great coaches, I had opportunities that I never thought that I would have. Just as an athlete, I got to travel abroad to volunteer in Costa Rica with other athletes there for a week to, paint a school. We helped them redo that, and then also play sports with them there. Several different leadership academies that I was able to be a part of, being a captain for Ohio State for 2 years. So overall, it was a big transition, but being able to compete with some of the best athletes in the country at the time on my own team, and then also being in the best league in women's hockey at the time, it was an incredible experience. And obviously with a somewhat picture perfect ending, getting cut a little bit short at the end, but an experience I'll never forget. And I'm so grateful for that.
Nice. So that's actually really unique. So what was it like going over to Costa Rica and doing like a volunteer experience?
It was incredible. They really, Ohio State does a great job of not just, building you as an athlete, but also, making sure that you get full experience, whether it's being prepared for a job, attending job fairs, leadership development, or volunteer experiences, which is something that I really got to benefit from. So it was a group of about 10 of us. We flew out from Columbus to Costa Rica, and we're there for a week, and we were pulled into the culture. We were around, stopping by different houses at the school every day, playing with kids, talking to them about their experience, playing soccer with them, playing football with them, different things. that just kind of gave us the perspective of, okay, we have so much as student athletes at Ohio State that we should be doing this more.
Right.
For me, I just really loved it to even be with other athletes from different teams. It was, fencing, pistol, football, soccer, basketball, so many different athletes with so many different backgrounds, perspectives, just to learn and grow from those experiences. It was really special.
That sounds incredible. I mean, and you were there for a week?
Correct.
Oh my gosh, I could not imagine being able to travel and you get to meet other athletes and then see how much of a difference you guys can make in just a short amount of time. I mean, Ohio University sounds like the place to be to get a whole bunch of experience in various things. That's incredible. So what would you say is your favorite memory about college, either hockey or off the ice?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think, in total, Ohio State just gave me so much, whether it's my, teammates who became my best friends and my family, coaches that I'll forever look up to as mentors and value them in my life forever. But I think it's the experience overall. There's an excellence in the air at Ohio State that is just, it's something that you feel and it's hard to explain. And in my path over the 4 years was very interesting. We went from the bottom of our league to the top of our league. And now Ohio State is a constant top 5 team in the nation. And it's incredible. And to be a part of that and build that and be a part of the leadership that helped develop it, the experience was something that I'll never forget. So there's bits and pieces along the way that it gave that I'll always cherish, but the overall memories and the parts that I still think about every day, that sticks out to me the most.
That's awesome. So what do you think is the type of mindset that you had after you were a captain? I believe you were an alternate captain and then you were a captain your senior year. So Correct. What type of mindset did you have going into it, knowing you had a different role on the team in your last season before you guys won the championship?
Not too much had changed. I think we just had a different group. And obviously leadership has to change with who you have on the roster at that time. For Jinsey and I, we kind of knew what we had going into the season. We had really, really seasoned older players. For example, the junior class at the time that I was a senior was Emma Malte, Tatum Skaggs, Lisa Bruno, Lindsay Wallace, Liz Sheppers, and they're incredible. They're incredible athletes and incredible people in general. And then we had the freshman class coming in that was really talented that, we needed to steer them a little bit to get them to understand, our goals and how accountable we are as a team. Because I think we set the standard really high at Ohio State. So to make sure that they were bought into that. But I think, credit to the captains that came before me. They were really a part of that hard change. The times where we weren't winning and it was easy, they were a part of the losing streaks and having to deal with culture change and really defining the team as something that it wasn't before. So as much as I'd love to take the credit for Jinsey and I in that last year, that was something that was a culmination of the years ahead of us. So it was really a process that just showed the benefit of all of it and it coming together at the end in my senior year.
Nice. I love your humble attitude. You're just like, it's not just me, it was all of us. We had a lot of help along the way. So that's awesome. And going into your championship title game, like what was running through your mind that night before you got on the ice? Like what was the environment like in the locker room? How was everybody feeling? Like we want to know all the details.
I think the game before was another overtime game, and obviously we, were making history in itself right there. We were in the championship for the first time. So I think as there were some nerves, we just felt, and we talk about it now, no one really felt scared. No one felt nervous. We just felt like, we were where we needed to be in the moment. And even when it got to overtime, it was just like a calm sense sort of fell over the team and no one was really panicked. Everyone was still in it, smiling, cheering each other on. And granted, the game obviously is a little bit stressful as it goes on, but I can still see it in my head. Tatum Skaggs coming down the ice and being Tatum who she is, making the moves that she did and putting it home for Ohio State's first ever championship. and after that, the look on everyone's faces it was crazy. I think even the announcer during the game said that I don't think the Ohio State players quite know what to do right now, and it's because we didn't. We were so not shocked, because that's not it. We knew that we belonged there. We knew that we deserved it. So it wasn't a surprise. It was just more of a overwhelming sense of we finally did what we talked about for me since my senior year. And watching Muzzy kind of hold up the trophy and look at her, it was incredible, because I remember the 2-hour meetings that we would have talking about what we want our culture to be and what we were striving for. So to kind of look around and watch each of the girls hold up the trophy and kiss it and take pictures and things like that, it was incredible. It was part of my most memorable piece from Ohio State, but I think everyone else would say that too, not just for myself, but for my teammates and the staff at Ohio State, and of course the athletic department as a whole.
It sounds like you guys have like a really strong, like, of course, every team on the ice has a strong bond because you guys all have like one common goal. Like, we want to win, we want to do well, we want to improve. But it seems like off the ice, you guys have a really strong bond. Like, I keep noticing you saying like the culture around the team was really strong. So can you like talk about that? Like, what did you guys do to help strengthen the bond off the ice with each other?
We were a family. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to put your finger on it, and it's something that you try to tell recruits and you try to tell other people when they ask about it, and it's so hard to explain. But I think every time we went through something, we were all bought in. We knew that it wasn't just for you, it was for your teammates, and you were going to do whatever you needed to that day to be not just the best for yourself, but the best for the person next to you. And every time we played, we'd say play for her, but we didn't mean it in the sense of obviously play for her, the younger athlete, the younger you that, fell in love with the game, but also play for her, your teammates that you're sitting next to, sitting across from, your teammates that you're with every day, working out, training, going through endless beep tests, conditioning, things like that you just kind of go to get through together. But I think that year was just something special. We were all bought in. And for me, that was the closest a team has ever been that I've ever played on. And to this day, we're still all family. I still stay in touch with them. We talk about this game more than we probably should. Maybe need to close the yearbook at some point, but we just had a different type of connection and family. And I think it stays true to Ohio State to this day. Even when I talk to some of my old teammates, they say, the culture there is incredible. And it was cool to be able to build it and kind of see it continue to grow. And I think big things are coming for that program in the future because of that culture. So I'm excited to kind of tag along and watch at the same time of, build that into Colby and start to work with them in that sense or around that.
That sounds awesome. I mean, it sounds like everybody on the team, like you guys really tried to foster like a selfless attitude. Like, yeah, you're here for you, but you're also here for your team, for the younger girl, for your younger you. I really like how you put that into perspective. I don't think I've ever heard someone put it like that in terms of like a team just being selfless and not worrying too much about what they can do, but how they can contribute to the team as a whole. So now that after you graduated, you went right back into school mode and you earned your master's in sports management. So what led you to that program and what do you hope to accomplish with that degree?
I knew I definitely wanted to get into coaching. And so my undergrad was in sport industry. So it kind of gave the leadership side to that, some coaching classes as well. So I wanted to get the management side as far as, the planning, event, facility management and things like that, because obviously as a coach, it kind of builds into everything. And in the long run, I want to be around athletics for a while, coach, obviously, as long as I can until I can't anymore. And wear that out until the very end, but then still be involved in athletics. So I felt like that degree would allow me to, after coaching, kind of expand onto different athletic department positions and things like that. And I loved it, really enjoyed learning, and Ohio State did a great job with that program of not just having, classes, but we were having guest speakers from different coaches and athletic directors and things like that really gave you an inside look at athletic departments and what it's like to be a coach and recruiting, video editing, things like that, I think they really let you dive into in that. So I really enjoyed getting my master's there. Obviously, selfishly for me, it was another year that I got to stay in Columbus for a bit. So really enjoyed that. But yeah, definitely something down the road that I just want to stay in athletics. So I was excited to get that.
Nice. And right after, I mean, you earned your degree, and then not too long ago, I think it was a week or so ago, you were officially named the assistant coach for Colby College women's ice hockey. So what does it mean to you to work now at Colby?
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I have been waiting to be a coach. I used to say it when I was younger, and obviously I didn't really know what it entailed, but I always wanted to be a coach. Throughout the process of kind of looking to get into coaching, I learned more and more about it. And I think, and I told some coaches at the time that I was talking to about it, I said, it might be naive of me to say now, not having done the job, but I think when I become a coach, I'll never have to work a day in my life, because this is really what I want to do. And this is what I'm passionate about. And for me, the biggest piece is that I had such a great experience throughout my 4 years of college. And I want to be able to have that impact that my coaches had on me at Ohio State to the student athletes at Colby and the other programs that I'm fortunate enough to work with. So I want to be able to, have them not only have a great athletic experience and hopefully get Colby women's hockey a championship along the way, but also prepare the athletes for their next step, whether it be, that dream job that they've been studying for, or whether it be playing abroad and continuing to play, or playing in the WHL, things like that. Whatever they're looking to do, I want to prepare them for life after college, because it's just as important as their 4 years within the program. So I'm extremely excited. And for me too, I think I'm in a very, very fortunate position where being hired as a coach right now is something, as a woman of color, is something powerful and carries a little bit more weight. As you can see, some of the women before me that are now working in the NHL, Blake Bolden, Kelsey Colzer, and then within NCAA, Nina Rogers, and even some of the younger girls, Jen Costa, Tina Kempa, who are promoting diversity and inclusion. I think for me, being in a college setting and having the chance to have little girls look at me and say, wow, she's here, I can also do this, and this is a space I belong in, is extremely important to me as well.
That's awesome. And I mean, when you think about it, I mean, just hockey as a whole on all levels. So from the grassroots all the way up to the professional level, we definitely need more BIPOC representation so that younger generations can look up to you and the Blake Boldens and Nina Rogers and Kelsey Colzers. We need more of that representation, especially female too. I mean, like just not many of us just yet. So I'm just hoping that anybody that's listening right now that wants to be coaching or any type of aspect in any role of hockey, like just that they can do it. Like if you're doing it, Kelsey's doing it, like they can do it too. So I really like that you mentioned that. That's really awesome. So, I mean, what aspect of coaching are you looking forward to the most in your first season?
Well, impacting the student athletes, like I mentioned before, it's their experience. Everything when working in an athletic department is about the student athletes. They come first, and it's about, giving them that memorable, excellent experience. And so for me, I think just looking at Colby and then where their program is right now, they're kind of at that point that I experienced at Ohio State, where they just made history as far as getting the most wins in program history. And now they're at the point where they can get over the hump to that championship, into their conference championship and things like that. So I'm really excited to get involved there, and hopefully be able to help move them forward. But the head coach, Holly Ting at Colby, is incredible. She played at Providence before and then worked at Dartmouth for a bit. And she's just an incredible coach, an incredible human being, an incredible leader. So I can't wait to learn from her and take that all in. And she's currently right now with USA Hockey, helping them out. So I'm excited for her, and it's an incredible experience for me. Selfishly, I think I'm so excited to learn so much and finally be in the position that I want, but also for the athletes, I hope that they get the experience that they deserve, especially after the past year and going through, maybe not playing as many games and hardships with that. And there's some players that took a year off because there was not much happening.
Right.
So they deserve a great season and a great experience and a great year for the seniors on the team and the girls coming in, setting that standard of changing the program forever. So I'm excited to get started. Hopefully I'll be moving there in the next week or so. I've kind of been remote and coming back and forth between Maine and Massachusetts, but excited to get started, get there and start working with some of the girls.
Well, I am so excited to follow your journey. I mean, you have so much motivation, so much passion. And I think given your experience at Ohio University and just being able to carry such a strong influence to Colby College, I know that their program is just going to go on the up and up. I mean, you talked about the head coach being a huge influence on you. And then you talked about how you want to influence the athletes, not just on the ice, but in all aspects of their college experience, which I don't think I hear enough when I talk with coaches. I mean, I'm pretty sure they do care about what goes on in their athlete's life, but you don't see them really putting that in the forefront of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, they may not want to play hockey at the end of their college career, and they might want to go do something else. So they need to be prepared for that as well. Yeah. So I really like that you mentioned that. And just to get a little away from hockey, I think I read that your favorite athlete is Sydney Leroux, who plays for the Orlando Pride for the WSL. So why is she your favorite athlete?
Aside from her just being hilarious, and I follow her on social media, I think she is another powerful woman of color in sports who definitely stands for a lot of things that I stand for as well. A strong, powerful mom who was competing while she was pregnant and now is still playing at that same caliber with 2 kids. I think being a coach and being in athletics, you kind of unfortunately hear often that it's hard for moms to kind of get in and coach and have children and still be that powerful, strong leader. And I think I've not only seen it with professional athletes like Sydney Leroux, but my own coach at Ohio State, Nadine Muzzerall, she is a mom of 2, and she is a superhero as well. She does it all. She is not only a mom to her kids, but she was a mom to 23 of us as we were on the program. So I think for me, that just stands out, kind of watching her and obviously speaking up with Black Lives Matter and just being so culturally aware and not being afraid to use her platform and her voice. I really look up to her in that sense, and it's good to change it up. I think obviously I have athletes within my sport that I look up to, Sarah Nurse, Blake Bolden, all the girls in front of me that kind of paved the way for myself. But I think I have enjoyed watching her play and compete, obviously when she was with USA Women's Soccer, but still someone I look up to. I find her Instagram posts really funny. So kind of sparked from there. And then I actually got to read more about her as an athlete and as a person and really admire her.
She certainly is just a strong individual all around, in motherhood, on Instagram, vocal about social justice. And I mean, on the soccer field, I think last week she had a really clutch goal for the Orlando Pride. And I was just like, she is just unstoppable. So when I read that about you, I was like, oh, we definitely got to ask, because she's a really cool influence. So I had a wonderful time talking with you. Our last question before we wrap up, if you could go back to when you were a little girl and you could tell yourself one thing, what would it be and why?
Ooh. I would say, never let people tell you the space that you belong in. I think growing up and being a hockey player, that I was a minority in the sense at the time. I was the only one in my locker room that looked like me. I think there's no one who's to tell you that you don't belong in a space. If you love the sport and you play it with passion and you show that every time that you're on the ice, you're in the space that you belong. I would say also, I think I've had people throughout my years that, of course, doubt where you're going to be, doubt playing Division I hockey or doubt becoming a coach. And it's cool to look back now and kind of see the path that I've had. And I've been so fortunate that it's not just me, I have powerful women around me and powerful mentors around me. My mother and my sister are great in their areas of work. My sister's a lawyer and my mom's a nurse, and they're wonderful leaders. And I aspire to be like them every day. So I think, never to let people tell you a space where you belong. Always follow your heart and for me personally, I always keep faith in the forefront, trusting God, trusting the process. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. So thank you again so much for being here. I wish you nothing but the best at Colby. We will definitely be watching and following along. Just can you tell our audience where we can follow you guys on social media?
Yeah, my Instagram and Twitter are both the same. It's LivSoares87. Definitely follow along, and I'll be in touch with you in the future for sure about other opportunities to promote diversity and inclusion within hockey, and definitely will be following along.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.